Yvonne Boland was born in 1944 and died in 2020. She was the author of more than a dozen volumes of poetry, including Outside History. She was also the author of several volumes of nonfiction and co-editor of the anthology The Making of Poem. Born in Dublin, Ireland, she was one of the foremost female voices in Irish literature. She received a Lannan Foundation Award and an American Ireland Fund Literary Award, among many other honors. She taught at Trinity College Dublin, University College Dublin, Bowdoin College, and at Stanford University, where she was the director of the creative writing program. She was also a great friend. The poem I'm about to read, The Poets, was originally published in 1968 in a collection known as New Territory Poems. The Poets. They, like all creatures being made for the shovel and worm, ransacked their perishable minds and found pattern and form, and with their own hands quarried from hard words a figure in which secret things confide. They are abroad. Their spirits, like a pride of lions circulate, are desperate, just as the jeweled beast, that lion constellate, whose scenery is Betelgeuse and Mars, hunts without respite among fixed stars. And they prevail. To his undoing every day, the unsensual sun proceeds, but only to accommodate a tenant moon, and he remains until the very break of morning, absentee landlord of the dark. This is John Steinbeck's banquet speech given at the occasion of the Nobel Award for him in literature in Stockholm in December of 1962. In this speech, Steinbeck refers a few times to men, but I encourage you to instead think, instead of men, humankind. Here's the speech. I thank the Swedish Academy for finding my work worthy of this highest honor. In my heart, there may be doubt that I deserve the Nobel Award over other men of letters, whom I hold in respect and reverence. But there is no question of my pleasure and pride in having it for myself. It is customary for the recipient of this award to offer personal or scholarly comment on the nature and the direction of literature. At this particular time, however, I think it would be well to consider the high duties and the responsibilities of the makers of literature. Such is the prestige of the Nobel Award and of this place where I stand, that I am impelled not to squeak like a grateful and apologetic mouse, but to roar like a lion out of pride in my profession and in the great and good men who have practiced it through the ages. Literature was not promulgated by a pale and emasculated critical priesthood, singing their litanies in empty churches, nor is it a game for cloistered elect, the tin-horn mendicants of low-calorie despair. Literature is as old as speech. It grew out of human need for it, and it has not changed except to become more needed. The skalds, the bards, the writers are not separate and exclusive. From the beginning, their functions, their duties, their responsibilities have been decreed by our species. Humanity has been passing through a gray and desolate time of confusion. My great predecessor, William Faulkner, speaking here, referred to it as a tragedy of universal fear, so long sustained that there were no longer problems of the spirit, so that only the human heart, in conflict with itself, seemed worth writing about. Faulkner, more than most men, was aware of human strength as well as of human weakness. He knew that the understanding and the resolution of fear are a large part of the writer's reason for being. This is not new. The ancient commission of the writer has not changed. He is charged with exposing our many grievous faults and failures, with dredging up to the light our dark and dangerous dreams for the purposes of improvement. Furthermore, the writer is delegated to declare and to celebrate man's proven capacity for greatness of heart and spirit, for gallantry and defeat, for courage, compassion, and love. In the endless war against weakness and despair, these are the bright rally flags of hope and of emulation. I am told that a writer who does not passionately believe in the perfectibility of man has no dedication nor any membership in literature. The present universal fear has been the result of a forward search in our knowledge and manipulation of certain dangerous factors in the physical world. It is true that other phases of understanding have not yet caught up with this great step, but there is no reason to presume that they cannot or will not draw abreast. Indeed, it is a part of the writer's responsibility to make sure that they do. With humanity's long, proud history of standing firm against natural enemies, sometimes in the face of almost certain defeat and extinction, we would be cowardly and stupid to leave the field on the eve of our greatest potential victory. Understandably, I've been reading the life of Alfred Nobel, a solitary man, the books say, a thoughtful man. He perfected the release of explosive forces, capable of creative good or of destructive evil, but lacking choice, ungoverned by conscience or judgment. Nobel saw some of the cruel and bloody misuses of his inventions. He may even have foreseen the end result of his probing, access to ultimate violence, to final destruction. Some say that he became cynical, but I do not believe this. I think he strove to invent a control, a safety valve. I think he found it finally only in the human mind and in the human spirit. To me, his thinking is clearly indicated in the categories of these awards. They are offered for increased and continuing knowledge of man and of his world, for understanding and communication, which are the functions of literature. They are offered for demonstrations for the capacity of peace, the culmination of all the others. Less than 50 years after his death, the door of nature was unlocked, and we were offered the dreadful burden of choice. We have usurped many of the powers we once ascribed to God. Fearful and unprepared, we have assumed lordship over the life or death of the whole world, of all living things. The danger and the glory and the choice rest finally in man. The test of his perfectibility is at hand. Having taken godlike power, we must seek in ourselves for the responsibility and the wisdom we once prayed some deity might have. Man himself has become our greatest hazard and our only hope. So that today, St. John the Apostle may well be paraphrased. In the end is the Word, and the Word is man, and the Word is with men.